think it's funny to take screenshots of people's NFTs? Eh? It's like property theft is just some sort of joke to you. Delete that screenshot.
Welcome to this episode of Mandatory Redistribution Party. I am Jack Lewis Evans.
And my name is Sean Morley.
This episode is about NFTs. And you know what we always say about NFTs?
I sure do, Jack.
If you're not right-clicking, you're wrong-clicking. We ask, what is an NFT? What is the promise of an NFT? And how are those promises unfulfilled?
This is easy. An NFT is just like a little drawing that makes the world go hot. It's usually of a monkey or a lion, and people get angry when you download them. Done.
If you have some fungible tokens to invest in art, please consider supporting our work at patreon.com/mandatory redistribution party. We hugely appreciate it. Thank you.
And if you want to raise the market value of our podcast, you can talk us up to your friends and family. Tell them we're going to the moon. I'd love to go to the moon.
Yeah, it's not a pyramid scheme. Now let's just open up the Mando's NFT tracker and see how our progress to the moon is going.
Jack, are you looking at this?
Oh my God.
Jack, it's happening.
Oh my God, Sean, we're going to the moon. Look at that line going up.
I can see it go up in real time. It's heading to Mars.
It's gone through the fucking moon. We can finally sell Mandos and realise our true dream of becoming buy-to-let landlords.
Yes! I'm going to make a student nurse live in a shed.
Yes! You're providing a service! Wait, what's...
Hang on, what's this cursor on the screen? Is this you? You got a mouse on this?
No. It's hovering over all the Mandos episodes.
No, they can't.
That's banned. That's illegal.
They're not allowed.
They're right-clicking.
No. What do you call those little small plates that aren't as big as normal plates?
Little plate.
You call that little plate?
Yeah, little plate.
You don't call it like a side plate?
No, little plate. What's it on the side of? It's a little plate.
You could put some bread on the side with it. If you're having like a big meal, you could have bread on the side.
Leave that on a breadboard. Why are you creating washing up?
You could have multiple. Sometimes it's good to use all of the crockery in one meal.
I tell you what, I've got loads of little plates. I've got more little plates than regular plates. Yeah. By virtue of accidentally smashing loads of big plates.
How many little plates do you have?
7.
And how do you know that you own those little plates?
They are in my house.
Yeah? Okay, so let's say, we're taking you on a hypothetical now. Let's say I'm round, and then when I leave, I take one of your plates with me. You don't know.
No.
But then when I get home, I WhatsApp you a picture of me with your little plate in my house.
Yeah.
I say...
I find that really funny.
I say, I've took this.
Yeah.
And I'm not giving it back. And I want us to remain friends.
Yeah.
I don't want to fall out over it.
I find that really funny, though.
Yeah. So we wouldn't fall out.
No.
We'd continue normally. Our normal interactions would carry on. I've taken one of your plates.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who owns that plate now?
You.
You've not given it to me, though.
No, you took it.
And that means I own it?
Yeah. Are you using it?
No. It's outside.
Where have you put it?
Huh?
Where have you put it?
I've left it on the recycling bin.
What? Why did you take that then?
I've got some weird guilt issues about using it.
Why didn't you give it me back?
You live quite a way away. It's not convenient.
Well, I've U-turned now. Now I'm annoyed with you.
Yeah.
Sean.
Okay, but does your annoyance change who owns the plate?
As soon as something's on a bin,
that's
anyone's game.
Okay, I posted it back through the letterbox. It's now on my welcome mat.
Yours again.
Mine again. So if something's in someone's house, that's ownership.
Under the current rules,
yeah,
which are all derived from finders keepers.
Okay, yeah. You can't find us keepers with Because I could come into your house and I could find a lot.
I know, but if it's in my house, I found it.
Right,
I've got
okay.
That's mine.
So
that's pre-found.
The way to get something is the moment you reach base and you look at the item and you're in your house,
then it's yours.
Ownership is transferred.
And if you live in a shared house, that's where it gets complex.
That is very complex. Because everyone's finding a lot of things all the time. Everyone's finding each other's milk.
Yeah, so there's finance keeps, and there's also just the default rule of if it's on a thing that is yours, like where you live, then it de facto becomes yours. That's one of the rules of capitalism, I think.
So if I brought not a tractor, I mean...
I think if a rat lives in your house, it's yours.
Oh, so if a pigeon flies in, I own the pigeon.
Until it goes back out.
But I can prevent it from not going out because it's my pigeon.
These are the rules of I don't make these rules.
So if I brought a trolley with me to your house,
yeah,
I could probably throw things out of your window onto this trolley, right?
Yeah, well, that'd break them.
No, not a pillow.
Yeah, okay.
I could throw a pillow into a trolley.
Yeah, sure. I thought you meant plates.
And you would be watching this.
Yeah.
Going, fair's fair.
I'd be watching it thinking, what the fuck is Sean doing?
That's the kind of behaviour that lets me get away with things.
Yeah, exactly. I might film it.
TikTok.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Please help me find work. I've just been robbed.
No. I was like, look at this guy's new Robin. No one's done this before.
Yeah, look at this entrepreneur.
This is an innovator.
Yeah. Pillow salesman.
Are you going to sell them to other people, the stuff you've had
why
off
not?
me?
I've got enough pillows.
No one's going to want it.
Why?
Well, my stuff.
I won't advertise it as Jack's stuff. I'll just advertise it as our pillow. This is Jack's pillow. Who's Jack?
Yeah, even
listen
then.
to this podcast.
Even then, no one's going to want my shit.
No, I could clean that up. It's just a pillow. That's fine.
Yeah.
Second-hand pillow.
Right.
I'd buy a second-hand pillow.
Okay.
I'd steal a second-hand pillow from you.
I think we're thinking of. I'm imagining a very specific pillow that you're sat right next to, which our friend made. Which is
this one. This one's got no resale value.
Yeah.
Do you want to describe it now that you've brought up the cursed pillow?
So it's got two pieces of artwork on it from the manga One Punch Man. One is of One Punch Man and a kind of beast. It's extremely cool. And if you flip it...
Yeah, this is bad here.
Yeah, we've got an image that it's One Punch Man with a red-faced maiden. And that is the side that I don't outward face. I think perhaps my friend who gave me this was amused by the concept of
you owning it.
Me owning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not quite a waifu body pillow, but I could see it as a gateway drug.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not
absolutely.
great.
Yeah.
I wouldn't steal this from you. I'm happy to declare that you own this.
Yeah, it's not in the trolley.
Yeah. So you could mint this as an NFT, though.
Yeah, it's not fungible. Fungible? I've only ever read NFT. Is it fungible or fungible?
I think it's a hard G.
Fungible.
I don't think it's soft G. Fungible.
Fungible.
I think it's fungible.
Do you know this?
No.
I've never heard anyone say it.
Why would you? It's like an entirely online phenomenon.
Fungible.
I think it's fungible.
Fungible.
Like corrigible. Whichever
one we pick, we're trapped, and if we're wrong...
I'm actually happy just to pick fungible and die by it.
We're going fungible.
Well, I'd rather that than live in this limbo.
Let's go fungible. I think fungible feels right.
So in terms of fungibility, you can NFT like real physical goods.
Why?
Just to transfer, like they don't need to actually move anywhere. Damien Hirst has done an NFT of real goods, of like actual physical artwork, and then when you get it, you can ask to have the physical artwork sent to you, or you can just not just have the NFT. There's been like a publicity stunt of people NFTing a massive tungsten cube.
Oh my!
But they don't move the cube. The cube remains where it was left.
Well, but that's the same for the ones that are just JPEGs, because the NFT isn't the thing. It's like a license to the thing that exists on the blockchain.
That's where there's this like talking past each other cycle, like a dynamo that's always rotating.
Yeah.
Of the right click argument, and then NFTs being like, no, you don't got it.
But that's why it's funny, because we know that that's what the NFT is, and you going, no,
I've got something. I've downloaded it, so I've got it.
No,
I have a different thing. It's different to that.
But it's especially, and it's different from physical. The difference between the physical object connected to the NFT that can move around and the JPEG connected to the NFT is that the JPEG exists as data, which can be infinitely duplicated. and be exactly the same. This is why, you know, we all remember the advert, like, you wouldn't steal a car.
Yeah.
It's like, well, maybe I would steal a car if your car remained there exactly the same and I was able to duplicate it precisely, infinitely. Probably then, if that was the case, I would steal cars constantly.
But this would be like in a world where someone does steal your car, and in the morning you see your car's gone, and you go, not a problem, I've got the receipt right here.
Yeah,
because I don't want to drive it. I never wanted to drive this.
Yeah.
I wanted the receipt that says I own the car. You can go and crash that into a tree for all I care.
Yeah.
Because I've got this receipt, because the only reason I want the car, I never wanted to drive it, I wanted to sell this bad car to an idiot.
Yes.
And this receipt is my ticket.
Dare we suggest that the NFT is the highest order of what one might call commodity fetishism, where there is an attribution of value to the thing kind of disconnected from anything else, but you become obsessed with it. So you are having the NFT not for its use value, but purely on a speculation of its exchange value. Use value is the reason you would actually have or want a thing, which obviously you would think, oh, it's because it's the ownership of this thing. But the ownership only matters to the extent that you can further sell it for more money. So the reason you care about it, its use, is primarily its exchange value for other money, whether that be fucking Ethereum or fiat currency or fucking whatever. It's just the fucking object of speculation. It's another way to extract wealth from speculation. That's just what it is.
In the most abstract terms. Like, I think a lot of
people...
people...
that's extremely abstract.
No, I mean, like, NFTs are themselves the most biggest abstraction. So, obviously, use value is, like, really easy to get your head around if you've ever, like, encountered a fork.
Yeah.
You don't need to think about... You know, I've had just as much pleasure from a fork I've not even owned than those forks that I can have from my own cutlery drawer.
Yeah.
What a fork can do for me has nothing to do with ownership or receipt. But with NFTs, they're not supposed to really do anything for anyone.
Other than signify ownership.
Well...
That's their function.
Well,
they're a certificate of ownership.
Yeah, so the NFT is locked onto the blockchain. Should we cover what a blockchain? Should we just cover what a blockchain is? So a blockchain is a bunch of blocks of data that within them contain a hash, which is an encrypted data which explains what is on the previous block and what is expected on the next block. And what's cool about it is that if you wanted to...
Be careful.
No, I think the blockchain itself isn't, like, bad. It's crypto and it's NFTs. People wanting to have an encrypted line of data in the same way that you can have... in the same way that people made decentralized torrenting so that I can now get Series 4 of Game of Thrones, even if you blew up thousands of computers across the world, it's sort of decentralized. It's almost exclusively used now for crypto and stuff like that, but people have just used it to secure data in secure ways because if you want to tamper with some of the data, it's the tamper-proofness that's the advertising is because each block contains like semi-encrypted replicas of the previous and next block. If you wanted to tamper with one thing, you'd have to tamper with all of the things because they kind of contain... they kind of contain little codes of each other. Yeah. And so the chain makes it. And then what people want to do with that, then it starts going banana town when you have, like, Americans, right libertarian, want to make a new technocurrency called cryptocurrency, where the idea is that it's completely, like, unmoored from the state machinations of state. Because, you know... The valid criticism they make is that states do tamper with currencies for the sake of corporates, plutocracy, and so on. And it's fallen into the same right libertarian fallacy that if you made a Wild West world, that wouldn't just allow new powerful actors to exist in a world completely devoid of, like, regulation or punishment or higher authority. So people can take over currencies. And the two big promises of an NFT is that, one, it cannot be tampered with. Once something is written into the blockchain, it cannot be messed around with.
Until it is.
Until it is and can be. And the other is that it's like a fully rubber-stamped, objective proof of ownership. And there are many reasons why both of these things do not stand up. The basic thing about ownership, you just point to all the big scandals where people have just printed lies. You know, it's the same of just going, I've got a safe deposit box in the middle of the ocean, so everything that goes in it must be true. No, you could put a lie in that.
Do you think it's funny to take screenshots of people's NFTs? It's like property theft is just some sort of joke to you. I'm gonna have you know that the blockchain doesn't lie. It's mine. I own it. And even if you have right-click saved, tough news, buddy. It's my property. You're just mad that you don't own the art that I own. Delete that screenshot.
The origins of cryptocurrency is founded upon the ideological dreamscape of American right libertarianism. Like most children birthed from this great canal, it is born ill and grows up to be evil. It correctly identifies the excesses and corruption and general thumbs on the scalesification of liberal democratic plutocratic states. And their attempt to address this problem is to create a new Wild West where they get to do the excess and corruption instead. Now, you want to know the big secret of NFTs? Lean in. Closer. 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 I've just given you a little kiss on the cheek there. Nothing to worry about, just between friends. NFTs have nothing to do with art. Sorry, I shouldn't have done the. I don't think I should have done the kissing thing. I told myself to write that out of the script, and it doesn't matter. NFTs have nothing to do with art. The NFTs are artwork is irrelevant. That the cryptographic tokens are represented by anything is just a handy brain foothold. That the artworks are purely tokens, a convenient, user-friendly stand-in for cryptographic authentication strings, helps answer one of NFT's other big questions to an outsider. Why is the art so shit? This is intentional. The beautiful piece of art auctioning for a lot of money is not interesting. It's not headline news. It's not going to bring more eyes into the NFT cubbyhole. But a low-res horny lion going for millions of smackers is a confusingly attention-grabbing phenomenon. It's also an extension of a practice which is neither new nor newsworthy. Art has long been the go-to currency of millionaire money launderers. Bought to be sold, bought to be a capital asset, intentionally overvalued for resale, bought to evade tax. A Picasso perpetually slingshot around the world from shipping container to shipping container. Never hung, only unwrapped in auction houses. Still feels more plausibly valuable than a JPEG of a monkey slurping up Huel from a space helmet. In 2016, the EU rolled out new regulations on art sales after the publication of the Panama Papers. In 2017, CryptoKitties, the first mainstream NFT website, is launched. These items are just financial assets, trading tokens, the Pokemonification of money. Pound coin is fungible. One pound coin is basically as good as another, at least in theory. We've all turned out a dirty coin of our life.
Am I right?
NFTs are all unique. If cryptocurrency is spending normal boring currency for exciting volatile currencies because you're convinced that its value will rise, NFTs are exactly the same, except now your money is a holographic gif of Sailor Moon riding Nyan Cat wedged horizontally in the Suez Canal. And the promise of NFTs are built on the back of two foundational promises. And strap your brain in here, because this will be unavoidably technical.
Promise number 1. NFTs are secure and unmodifiable by any means.
NFTs rely on decentralized blockchains. They are decentralized because there is no central authority that make decisions like who gets to write what. These are made by automatic and anonymous consensus algorithms. Most cryptocurrencies rely on proof of work in order to write to it. To prevent the server from receiving a billion requests constantly, or worse yet, intentional malicious denial of service attacks, which work by people sending an overabundance of requests at once to crash a server, proof of work requires someone issuing requests to perform a not insignificant amount of computing power locally on their own device. This makes it harder for people to spam. So when you see people with shipping containers full of RTX GPUs with the electrical consumption of a small country, that is what they're doing. Just useless junk processors. They're not crunching anything that's useful for anyone. They're just proving to a server that they want to write to a blockchain more than they want a habitable planet full of cool animals. Now, proof of work is absolutely awful for the environment, but it's one of the only ways devised to keep the relative powers of stakeholders even. Now, this is necessary because if someone ever gets 51% of an entire cryptocurrency, there's basically game over. This person now owns the currency effectively. They are the consensus that the algorithm relies on to work out who can write what to where. So they can just fuck the whole thing up or fuck the whole thing off. They can take money out. They can impose huge transaction fees. Those who might want to cash out, they might need to pay now just to even leave and take the money out of that blockchain. Right now, even if you're a millionaire, it's kind of difficult to get your hands on a few thousand GPUs to make an attempt at a 51% attack. But that's not going to be the case always. GPU scarcity could improve, and even then, because currently the distribution is such that people always have the option to mine new coins rather than fork out huge rates for existing currency. But mining is going to dry up. Bitcoin, for example, only has a finite amount of coins. But even if you don't have that problem, eventually with continued mining, it's probably going to be the case that the currency will deflate as new coins go into circulation. So eventually, mining will stop being cost effective because the new coins that you're getting are worth so much less than what you could buy off of someone. Once these kinds of transactional markets start opening up and are the only viable way of getting a new currency, once currency starts collecting in the hands of fewer people, it creates way more opportunities for a 51% takeover. And then your currency is basically forfeit to the whims of this person. Also, decentralized blockchains are not immune to just plain old hacking. A lot of the internet runs on centralized authorities that certify something as legit. But the whole point of a decentralized cryptocurrency is there is no authoritative body. And that opens up opportunities for people to trick the system. It might be harder when it's a massive currency, but it's not exactly impossible for people to hack and steal things. Normally, millions of dollars have already been stolen from multiple crypto platforms by hackers.
Promise number 2. NFTs must categorically prove ownership of an item.
Now, ownership is a made-up human concept wherein people agree by consensus not to touch each other's stuff. If you really want to take my plate, and I really love that plate, I've only got a limited number of options. I can convince you I've got a special claim to this plate, or I use force, fists, or pigs. That's it. Now, if I show you my receipt I got from the plate shop, and that just doesn't do it for you, maybe you think it's forged, maybe you think it's stolen, or just wrong, or otherwise invalid. Maybe you don't believe in receipts, maybe you've never seen a receipt before, maybe you just crawled out of the woods. Well, we've got a bona fide ownership dispute. But my ability to lock up that receipt in a lead-lined box at the bottom of the Marianas Trench, that's not going to do anything to resolve this if you don't already trust the receipt. And if it's a lie, you don't make it more believable by making it tamper-proof. Just like if I write Sean Morley owns the moon on the blockchain, it doesn't become any more convincing than when I spray paint it on the office of my local MP. People have stolen loads of artworks and minted things they do not own into NFTs. In 2018, artwork was taken from an artist, Ching Han, who had only recently died, including drawings she made about her own stage 4 cancer, and those things were minted into NFTs by thieves and sold off in markets. Anything is being turned into NFTs now. And the hunger is not for art, it's just for tokens. Anything you can mint, just to swell the crypto economy. And the most bizarre players are getting in on it. Charmin, the toilet paper brand, they've minted an NFT. The Canadian Royal Legion have minted an NFT. The German branch of the World Wildlife Fund have minted an NFT to fundraise for animal conservation. Hey, and who can blame them? Since the only disadvantage that NFTs have is that they're volatile, insecure, environment-destroying pyramid schemes built to facilitate money laundering and tax evasion that have been subject to too many scams to be a trustworthy proof of ownership. And if you solved all of those problems, well, you'd basically have coin.
I hope you've got legal representation, that's all I'll say. Because my legal team are going to make a meal out of somebody that has taken an NFT that clearly belongs to someone else and he's saying that they own it. I've got a lawyer and he is in Boston and that is in America. Open and shut, throw the book at them, send them to Sing Sing. It's like Napster all over again. Beck wanted to retire. Beck had to make more albums because of LimeWire. That's the problem with your generation. Think you can just right-click save everything, huh? Embarrassing.
Well, there's two stages of theft, isn't there? There's like theft down the line and theft at inception, where you go, this thing is mine, like some meme or something, and it never was, but you sold it to someone, and then they've sold it to someone, and then they've sold it to someone, so everyone in this chain has an interest in going, yes, that was originally theirs, so now it's mine. But that's exactly the same as like America.
There's also actually a technical problem. It's called like the Byzantine generals problem. It's how do you know when three different servers are all reaching consensus?
Right. Okay.
Let's say there's a triangle of servers and they're trying to communicate, but one of them's got dodgy data. Right. Maybe two of them's got dodgy data. All of the actual technical mechanisms are all assuming error. Like it's the kind of thing you'd use in an airplane. They have loads of sensors and loads of backups and algorithms which determine, if one of these has gone dodgy, we don't trust it because we trust the others. But none of that is accounting for people intentionally getting these things wrong. No one's trying to crash planes this way, right? Because there's actually a lot easier ways to crash planes. So it's very easy, and has happened, that people can just send wrong data to the blockchain. So not only can people lie when they write stuff to it in the first place because they've just taken an image that was never theirs, people can actually just fiddle with and misauthenticate and actually write junk data to it to change the ownership of an NFT. And then on top of that, like, there's just the whole big of everyone having to blow up their currency and be an advert for their own currency the whole time. And the last thing I want to talk about, how NFTs is absolutely nothing new and is just a digital version of how fine art dealerships works in America and has done for a whole long time, and there's nothing new or interesting about it. It's just the same as people who keep Picassos in Mayo's shipping containers that are never going to put them on their wall. So there's not even anything new or interesting happening in the NFT craze.
But the weird thing about it, I think people get hung up. If you try to do like a Marxist analysis of NFTs, you can be like, oh, what the fuck, because where's all the labour going? Is it to the people who make the graphics cards or the people who like mine the coal to fuel the electricity? But it's not, because art works in a different way, and that's what it's most equivalent to is like the already existing art fucking stuff, where it's just seen as this, like, you treat it as a commodity and as a speculative asset. But like art is an outlier from the Marxist analysis, because the Marxist analysis is about mass production and businesses competing with each other. So like a business isn't going to be established in order to produce 1,000 more Monets than another person who is also trying to produce Monets, and there's not like a socially necessary amount of labour time to produce one Monet.
How many Monets do we need?
Yeah, well, exactly.
How many Monets until we're done?
Yeah, so like it's a very like if you it can throw a real spanner into your brain if you try to do like basically economic analysis from the 1800s onto it.
I think,
but at the same time, it's just if you get the simple thing of it is a speculative asset, and the concept of commodity fetishism, where people become obsessed about this like value in a thing. And
it's not just that you're like trading on futures of a piece of data.
Yeah.
It's that you are, you're doing greater fool theory, right? So greater fool theory is, I may have bought something that's not worth what I've paid for it at all. That doesn't matter. There just needs to be one greater fool than me, and suddenly I'm a genius.
It's a pyramid scheme.
Yeah. But then but all of this financialization stuff is...
Yeah, it works the same way. You just need enough people to believe the thing has the value.
And then but that's everything.
That's everything.
Really. If people believe things have value, they will give you things of value for it. Yeah. And so when you get involved in NFTs in particular, because it's so like visual and vocal and trying to enter the mainstream, whereas these fine art dealerships is like the rarefied American aristocracy and so on.
But that's it. It's a new kind of bourgeoisie, in that it's not the like rarefied old school aristocracy like the art stuff. It's they've found a way to get Silicon Valley into that same con.
Silicon Valley, but also you need to bring everyone. Everyone's doing this MLM, right?
Yeah, of course.
So when you go NFTs, it's like NFTs everything. I just want to talk about NFTs, going in NFT
But
podcasts.
they're at the bottom of the pyramid. The people who own the majority of Ethereum or the majority of Bitcoin is a minority of people who are extremely wealthy.
Yeah. But then also when you do the MLM strategy, which is that other people have to sell on to get more people in to raise the value of the currency you already own, is that you build an army of like marketeers.
Yeah, exactly.
And just like with MLMs, I don't know if you've ever had like a friend who went to university and then just one day out of the blue just messages you to be like, do you know I can save you $2,000 off your energy bill? So I've not spoken to you in 10 years. And when we did speak, we did not get on. We were not friends, but I was your enemy.
Yeah.
I was actually your oppressor. You had no reason to save me money on my bill. And it's the same with crypto. Like the way it propagates is through people in your DMs going, "I've got an amazing deal from you." And it's like, you're a stranger from Germany.
But
why would you give me an amazing deal?
They are serving their own self-interest, but they are also primarily serving the interests of capital, who control the faction of capital that controls massive chunks of this stuff.
Yeah. They're hoovering more people in.
And also, it's a speculative asset. Like the notion that like people keep talking it as like cryptocurrency. It's crypto because it's not real fucking currency, is it? Like currency functions as, you know, like a universal means of exchange, like a holder of value that can be universally exchanged easily between people in a certain context. Most of the time, as that exists now in a nation state where that currency is enforced by the state, which, as we said before, does have its fucking problems. But these crypto coins aren't functioning like that. And then they're also not going to be used as, you know, means of accounting. And they're so unstable, as much as obviously, you know, fiat currencies go fucked up and you can have inflation and hyperinflation. But like currencies generally exist, fiat or otherwise, to represent different aspects of the economy. And that is not what these fucking coins do.
And beyond selling them on, because once you like trade into a bunch of crypto coins, right?
You're in.
Well, and also it's quite hard to take out. Like if you actually get rich, you can't like cash out and now I'm rich. You can only be weirdo bored ape rich. You can't be like money rich until you can use an ape to like buy a sausage roll. Like I think there are people who are like millionaires, but it's like, but you're millionaires trapped in this weird thing where you can only buy their NFTs and you're in a currency that's not even liquid enough for you to get out money you can use to buy like a car.
But it's also why a lot of the other factions of capital are skeptical about it, because the way you accumulate capital is most easily by extracting surplus value from people's labor, right? So if all your money is in assets, but those assets are fucking sweatshops or diamond mines, then people's labor increases the value of those assets. So you make a profit. Whereas, and obviously there'll be speculation on the fucking trainer market or the diamond market. So the speculation can still affect those things. But ultimately, the profits are driven by people doing work that keeps that business ticking over and makes profits. You know, and there's loads of other like weird different aspects of this where you get the asset and then you can load the asset up with debt because it has a certain value, and then you can use that to, you know, extract, make a great value, whatever. But these things function solely as a speculative asset. So like there isn't a load of workers connected to a Bitcoin or an Ethereum or a Dogecoin or whatever, guaranteeing that grind growth, that tick up you get from owning other assets. So it's like if you were there's a faction of capital that's obviously fucking well into this, but the others are like, oh, I don't get it, because where's the
it looks like a bubble, right? Because if you just tell people everything's really valuable, and then later on people are like, I don't like now the market's seized up on that. Then suddenly we just change our minds and everyone's bankrupt. That's what it is, right? When you make a speculative bubble, it's only valuable as long as people are building into the dream. And the moment they're like, I don't want to do it anymore. That's it. You just bankrupt people with your mind.
Not great.
People are arguing constantly about what it means to like own a thing. What it means to own a picture of this monkey. and people are always...
The guy who got his monkeys nicked is really... Did you see that?
I think there's a million guys getting
a lot of people got their monkeys nicked. But the guy who just complained, you know, because the whole thing is like, oh, it's all decentralized, it's peer-to-peer, you don't need any central authority. And then they go, oh, I'm actually just going to have to directly contact the person who made the monkey and say, can you say that their NFT... that's not theirs, that it's mine. And then it's like,
well, hang on. If you need to contact the central authority, what's this blockchain doing for you?
Yeah.
But I just think,
and who's going to enforce these rules by any chance? Is it going to be? Oh no, it seems to be the state, doesn't it?
Right.
Is it the police and the judicial system?
Do you need the batons to come out? Are you sad online now? You're asking for a baton. Sorry, you turned your back on the batons. The batons won't assist you now. People always getting confused, like...
I'm always confused.
Yeah, if you're not scratching your head, you're pretentious. Yeah. But people talk about, under socialism, private property, and they'll think, oh no, Stalin wants to take away my toothbrush. And I think it's just a really awkwardly named thing that private property really like means like the means of production. It means like big industry or like private land and so on. But I think maybe we just should have private property in the normal sense as well. I think maybe we should take away people's toothbrush.
Yeah.
I think just no one should own anything.
I don't need a little plate.
Absolutely return everything. Well, maybe not like I was going to say like a big supermarket sweep, but I think certain
finders
people would have an advantage. No, because that advantages certain people. Some people are good at finders keepers, or some people are bad at finders keepers. Yeah. Everything needs to go to a little community tribunal of like, do you really need that? Yeah. How long do you need it for? Put it back in the skip.
What, you're saying like you should take primacy over just exchange value?
I think everything should just be based on who needs it right now. Do you need this right now? Can I have it? You using this? Can I have a go? Can I have a go on this? Yeah, don't break it. I'll wear it down a little bit. It will wear with my use. Soz.
Do you know what I massively think about with that? Hoovers.
Hoovers. I mean...
Do you need a Hoover for every flat and house?
No.
No one. You're not all hoovering at the same time, are you? Nonsense.
Pets.
Cats do this anyway.
I'm going to say cats are already owned by several
they're already
households.
collectivised, yeah.
But let's do it with all of them.
Yeah.
Let's do it with every pet.
Big snake.
If it's long enough, it could go through the house. Big anaconda could be in 3 terraced houses at once.
3 terraced houses with like a sort of terrarium underneath the floor. So
That's
it's like
really
a glass
good.
floor.
Yeah.
And there's just loads of snakes and lizards in there.
I think you just let it through all the walls and you just make sure you've got like little holes it could pop up in and you give it a little grape.
Yeah.
Probably don't eat a grape, probably wants a mouse.
I bet it'd eat a grape, but it wouldn't like it.
It'd eat a grape and then it would
I
get
think if
sick.
you held a grape to a snake... No, actually, I don't.
People would be putting it on the snake WhatsApp.
Yeah.
One of these 3 houses has fed it a grape. Because it's in my house, I can hear it in the walls, it's coughing. It's trying to retch up a grape.
When's the last time you went to a shop, to specify, not the food shop?
Okay.
Like a Curry's, like a clothing shop, an electronic shop, a shop that you don't need to go to every week to subsist.
Yeah, I mean, under COVID, I've just not gone to as many shops as I would have done. So are we talking pandemic or just normal, just in normal time?
Both in the before times as well as now, and also in the future.
In the future.
Yeah.
So talking about the future, there was a wonderful shop that I used to have in my old borough of Sheffield.
Right, okay.
Shout out to Crooks, everyone.
Tough walking up there.
It's tough walking up there, and it's amazingly dangerous biking down from there.
Yeah, wow.
There's
on the ice.
There's a little hardware shop on there, and it's like one of those 4 candles shops.
Okay.
Where if something breaks in your house, like something in a vacuum cleaner's gone, or you pull something out, you bring the broken thing to this man.
Yeah.
This one man who's the only person who ever works there. He looks at it, he holds it up in the light, he just shuffles in a bunch of boxes. He goes, "There you go, £4."
Yeah, and he's like making up the price.
And like that is something more rare and more interesting than anything you could see in a zoo.
Yeah.
Get rid of all zoos. This should be where people are travelling to.
But also, the reason you say zoo is it feels like an artifact that should be witnessed by people. It's such a rare and strange thing that it's like an endangered species.
It should have those red like tassels on those little bollards that have at museums so that I can't tamper with the past.
Yes. People should be, like scientists should be working on making those shopkeepers breed.
I think they should freeze the shop cryogenically until people can solve the economic conditions that's causing them to die out.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, just that specific shop, great example, and a dying breed, but shops in general, you vibing with them?
I like the idea of them. Do you know there's a wonderful old bookshop in Sheffield that they got rid of in order to make more student flats? And one of the arguments put out by someone who was a Lib Dem at the time, maybe it still is a Lib Dem, is a lot of you students are really sad this is going away, but you never shop there. And at the time, I'm like, I hate that argument because I don't really ever shop there. It's just full of old antique books and stuff, and it plays weird jazz, sometimes quite atonal jazz.
Yeah.
So I don't always want to go in there, but I don't want to have to shop there to keep that alive.
Yeah.
There are loads of shops that I would never want to get rid of, but I don't want to have to shop there in order to keep it.
That is a problem.
What it gives me is not that I want to buy products from it.
Yeah.
I just want weird buildings to exist as a backdrop to me being the main character walking down the street.
I like those shops that are like a nice place to be in, though. Tends to be like a nice bookshop.
We got a nice hardware shop by us. Still, hardware shops rely on niceness because people are clueless about DIY.
Yeah, absolutely love the smell of a hardware shop as well.
Florists are similar.
Yes.
Lots of people want to have plants.
Yeah.
I don't know about plants.
No.
You have to tell me.
Yeah,
so the best shops are ones where like you need to exchange info and then you have to trust someone.
Yeah.
Hairdressers has to go on trust.
Yeah.
There's lots of places where you don't need any trust. It's just products. And you go, I've got more of a relationship with the product. I know what I want, and you just need to vend it to me. And those are the ones that don't really have a place in a community so much.
Clark's. Do you remember going to Clark's?
I used to despise Clark's.
The only good thing about Clark's is the moment the foot measuring device touches the tip of your big toe.
No, I didn't like that.
I liked that.
I didn't like that. It reminded me of H.R. Geiger.
What? The man or the art?
The art.
Right.
I've never met the man. he's never measured my foot.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, it's HR Geiger measured
loves
your
to
foot.
measure your foot, yeah.
Yes, to stay clear of him. He's a fucking weirdo.
Put your foot in my painting. All the feet you see in these paintings, real feet.
If you go and you get an actual model of the alien xenomorph, it's got your feet.
That's my feet.
Yeah. What the fuck, Geiger?
I want royalties. Imagine trying to convince anyone the xenomorph's got your feet. You'd be laughed out. You'd be laughed out of anywhere. It's the kind of thing you say, and even if it's true, you'll be labelled a loon.
Yeah. They'd probably take out Geiger as well.
Or just take him out for...
He's the one man who knows the truth.
He's corroborating it. Yeah. What, the CIA? I just met my friends.
Yeah. Both.
Yeah, okay. Wow. Didn't realise those circles overlapped.
So, but you haven't explained.
Well...
I'm talking about like childhood. Did you know what H.R. Geiger?
I'm aware of childhood.
Yeah.
No, but don't talk down to me. I know what it means to be a child.
I was clarifying that the visit to Clark's was a childhood visit.
Okay, so H.R. Geiger's art taps into something which you know already before you've seen his artwork.
Okay.
Which is the mechanical realm and the biological realm should never get too chummy.
Oh, actually, this is a good idea.
Never get too chummy. So I never want part of my anatomy in any kind of vice.
Yeah, it's got a cyborg element.
Yeah. Because let's say they're measuring, and obviously they bring it down to be the length of your foot. Well, they just don't stop.
They
just crush your foot.
Well, how strong is this Clark's worker?
Do you know, part of me always felt that it just could be like you just turn it on, and it just clamps you automatically.
Wow, that's fucked. Please don't design that, anyone.
I also didn't like that the Clark's lift talked. It was the first talking lift I ever encountered as a child.
What the fuck?
And I despised it.
Yeah, that's a big Clark's.
The lift,
floor Clark's.
Birmingham.
Oh shit! Yeah.
So the Clark's, the lift would talk to you, and I just hated it. And then my foot was in a vice. This was just a cyberpunk nightmare.
Yeah. Fuck.
I was through the looking glass. I was about to jack into the Matrix.
So now we're talking about this. I did not anticipate this to be like boomer Facebook level. Do you remember Clark's level conversation, which I appear to have blundered us into here. But I remember going with my mum to acquire the shoe measurement in Clark's with the contraption, and then using the information gleaned from this to go to Shoe Zone, which is like
and you've got
like a much or some sort of much bleaker giant shoe warehouse where there was nowhere to fucking sit or try anything on. There was just boxes and boxes of shoes, and then you go and find the one,
and it's much cheaper.
Yeah,
I do this with the opticians now. I go into Specsavers, and you get a free eye test there or something, or cheap or something. It's a very cheap eye test. And then you go, oh, great, can you give me
the score,
my readings, and let me browse the glasses that are near the door? Thank you so much for blowing air in my eye.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Then you order them online. You can get real cheap. These are online.
Hold on. The fucking the opticians is way more Geiger.
Yeah. I don't like that either. You're trying to catch me as a hypocrite. I hate it more.
No, I want to understand.
Like my last eye test, because they blow now.
Yeah,
you had the blow?
I've had the blow. Didn't like it.
I was going to an optician's that was near the hardware guy. Shout out to Crooks in Sheffield. Right? I was going to an optician's that was just an old school optician's where it's just an old guy, one guy. Yeah. He looks at your eyes. He writes down some numbers. You do the old-fashioned stuff. You look at the letter triangle.
Okay.
He looks in your eye.
All right. I thought he was doing. He was looking at you and going, "Yeah."
What, from a distance?
Yeah.
Yeah, you look like this and this. Yeah.
He's actually got really good eyes.
He's got his telescopic eyes.
Yeah.
So I had that. So I didn't know about blow. No. I had this. I was sheltered from blow, and then when I had blow, I was saying to the guy, I can't handle the blow.
I didn't like the blow.
Can you? And I said, could you just blow one and then extrapolate? And he said, no, because the eyes could be different. Mm-hmm. Your eyes could be different. Yeah. I'm saying that's why you extrapolate.
Listen, when I first experienced the eye blow,
can't do blow. I don't want to talk about.
I didn't want to. I went along with it. I was, and I accepted that it was a necessary, sort of Milgram experiment. Okay, I'm going to.
This is verbatim what I said to the optician. I said, I understand the necessity of this. I'm not intellectually. I think I was. I'd forgot to be normal. So I spoke my mind. And I said, I want you to understand that intellectually I understand the necessity of this. I'm not saying it's a junk part of the procedure and you're blowing in my eye for no reason. I'm just saying I'm having such an intense physical reaction that it might be worse than just not being able to see very well.
Well, I was like, do you know what I wanted to ask? What the fuck is this? What does this find out?
Yeah.
I wanted to know what the blowing, what is it? Because in my head, I'm like, he's doing this for a reason. But I couldn't bring myself to ask the reason. I thought if I didn't ask, he'd think I was fucking stupid. I was like, this guy's going to think I'm an idiot if I ask what the blow's for. I have to pretend like the blow's normal.
I've learned from experience that asking why things are happening is often regarded as complaining.
Yes.
On
It's
the,
a complaint.
on the trains, I go, so why is off-peak return doesn't say northern trains only, but I can only use them on northern trains, but it doesn't say that on the ticket. Like, how is that? And to me, I want to be like, how's that happened?
Yeah,
How is that?
It's a
Like,
query.
what has happened here? And when the self-service checkout thing goes, it's wrong and you didn't help.
Yeah.
I try asking the person, have I done a thing wrong so that I can not do it in future, so you don't need to come and swipe your ID on the self-service? Right. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, it's just broken like this. And I'm like, I'm not actually having a go. When I think of the self-service person who stands near the self-service checkouts, I always think, what's the best thing I can do for them?
Yeah.
But I can't get that information from them because you would need like a Mission Impossible level conversational dexterity to get that information from someone without seeming irate or the ultimate freak. So I just imagine what's in their head, and based on random prejudice mixed with random numbers, I decide whether they'd rather be busy or rather be idle. On a case-by-case basis.
The unexpected item in the bagging area alert is going off because you're rolling D20s.
And going, I think you want an excuse to walk around a bit. You seem like your feet are hurting. Maybe you want to be more active. I can't ask you because society's fucked. In a perfect society, I could say, how do you want me to behave today to every member of staff?
I would like to be able to ask a lot of people, what is the appropriate thing I should do next?
Yeah.
I think I would love to be able to just openly ask
What's the most normal thing I could do in your eyes?
As soon as you ask that question,
script identically.
Exactly, but it's the forbidden question.
And yet, there's such a dissonance because it's clear what I want, and yet I'm being treated as though I'm a freak.
Yeah, because asking that question by default makes you a freak of the highest order.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've gone off track. What was I going to say?
This is about shops, is it?
It's about shops. And I was going to try and talk about how in many ways, getting shit delivered might be better for certain things. Even supermarket stuff. Sure. Because, supermarkets have insane stuff like they got a frozen fish on ice that's getting electricity to freeze it, and then a beam of light lighting it up so it looks fancy, so you buy it. So if you stored all these things in just like a warehouse, and everything could just be packaged in blank packaging, so you wouldn't have to need all marketing people to put like lightning bolts and pictures of demons on stuff. It would be like a kid doing a wheelie.
Picture the demons on your frozen fish.
A demon going, I love fish.
Omega-3.
Speak it thrice and I shall manifest. Like a kid doing a wheelie into a demon because he's had his omega-3.
Yeah, and he's got a cod in either hand.
Yeah. And he's called like Captain Birdseye Jr.
Yeah, he's looking up into the clouds and there's kind of a Captain Birdseye formation like Simba in The Lion King. I'm proud of you.
Yeah. You too will be the captain. And he's like, no, I'm going to fight demons on my BMX.
Yeah, I'm going to slay hell.
But the other side of it, obviously, however, is that under capitalism, all the warehouse stuff, Amazon warehouse is just like the most horrific places to work in there because that's concealed from you as much as fucking retail. Anyone who's worked retail knows that that's a horror show in and of itself. But it's a different horror show than the relentless, like, hit the targets, get the shit in the box, Amazon warehouse stuff. So I guess my question would be like, would you have shops after the revolution?
Yeah, you'd have to have some shops, I think.
Yeah, but I think you've kind of answered it of like the shop that you'd want. Like you can envision the florist and the person that fixes the thing.
Yeah.
Shop.
And a little bookshop.
Yeah. But you can't envision Matalan.
Yeah, or Big Morrison's.
No, right.
There'll be no Big Morrison's after the revolution. There'll just be a little sandwich dealer.
That sounds like a guy who's in the pub.
It's a guy who comes around in an unmarked cap. Want some curry chicken?
No, buddy.
Do you want a cob?
Not from you.
Yeah, you get in the back and the black cabs, you've got this tiny little change hole. He's trying to squeeze a big bat through that. Made it too big.
He does delivery, but he just posts bats through your letterbox.
Pushes them through.
Mandatory Redistribution Pie was created and produced by Sean Morley and Jack Lewis Evans. Our title theme was created by Ella Jean with extra music in the explainer section from Sean Morley himself. That explainer also featured the dulcet tones and exquisite delivery of the Chris Cantrell. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you big much and loads to those of you who support us on Patreon and on social media. If you can't afford to do so, do check us out on patreon.com/mandatory redistribution party, where we have little bonus episodes. I hope you're doing okay. Stay fungible, folks. Stay fungible.